the things that really occurred to me when thinking about this talk was actually that I think we're at probably one of the best possible times in Britain to set up a food business. I'm amazed actually with how young my panelists are and how young they were when they started a business. It seems to me today that actually if you want to do something, there are many different ways that you can raise money and many different ways that you can get your ideas out there, whether it's a pop-up restaurant, a supper club, a blog, a market stall. As you're here tonight, each panelist has come from a completely different angle.
It's very difficult to know whether the thing that you dream about, the thing that you look out into the world and doesn't exist and that you think would be amazing, whether anyone else agrees with you. It's difficult, but I've only got my own experience. I think if something moves you deeply, and if you really feel it would be exciting, and if no one is doing it the way you think it should be done, if you're going to buy it, if you're going to spend your own hard-earned money to buy something, I think that's probably a good enough indication that other people will as well.
If you think something should exist to the quality that you would demand for yourself, you have to, you can check out an idea, you can ask lots of people whether they would want the same thing, but ultimately, to satisfy yourself in a sort of slightly selfish way, if you can create something that satisfies your expectations and what you want, so in food, then you have to sort of listen to yourself and listen to whether you can execute something that's going to satisfy yourself. And in a way, you can't think too much about what everybody else is saying that they want, because you can. Running a business is so hard. The thing that really keeps you going is that vision that you create for yourself. That is a little bit. It has to be satisfying for yourself first. And you have to believe that everyone else will want the same.
The reason for starting my business was not motivated by money either, although that comes later when you work so hard and you realize that that's definitely an integral part of a business. But when I was starting, I had just moved here and I wanted to make a particular type of cake, and it wasn't here, and I tried to work in restaurants and do it that way. And I found that I just had to start my own business to do the job that I wanted to do. And I think that, and I started with a market stall, which a lot of people do now. Many big businesses with a lot of backing do market stalls now. At that time, it was just, mom and pop doing market stalls. And then people like Neil's Yard and people, everyone in here who was really doing that for, the last 20 years. And it's a different kind of thing. So you start with I started with just what I loved, just what I really, really wanted to do, where I could talk to people directly and really get that information back from people.
I think you're never going to be completely unique. A lot of people say, I'm doing something that's so unique and no one else is doing it. But it's likely that somebody else is doing it. But I don't think that matters really. It's the way you do something and the way that you address a consumer. And I believe that sort of whatever you're doing, if you can create passion with other people and show your message, and they'll love what you're doing as well, and that will tumble on.
When you're starting out, if you can find mentors or people who have done it before, talk to them, learn from them. I certainly have an amazing team of people who I work with now who keep pushing me along and keep us striving for the next goal.
Starting a restaurant, or a bakery is obviously quite expensive. It costs a lot of money to do. There are a lot of other formats. We didn't go down. We did a pop-up actually, a one-off pop-up, and I think that anyone starting up a restaurant in London now, that's obviously the established route. Is finding a way to just do a temporary restaurant, which you can do for very little money. And I think, so basically that we just did one night and we invited friends. Well, it was before this whole pop-up craze started. The pop-up didn't even exist. Yeah. It was in 2008 and or if it did, I didn't know about it. So we just did it in my uncle had a small cafe on a sort of business estate where he worked that we managed to borrow for the night. We gave him 100 quid to say, look, can we use it from 6? And you just do it, you know? I mean, that's the great thing about a restaurant, is that it's like a bit of theatre.
Yes.
You know, it's all going to be gone the next day, so you can just turn up and you can just give it a go. And there is no feeling like the feeling, the mass panic towards setting everything up, especially in an alien space, the problems you encounter, and then that sort of split moment of calm before the first person walks in, where you have the unbelievable fear of, is anyone going to turn up? You know, it's really just the crescendo of preparation, and then the potential desolation that no one will be interested.
But we got a grant from Unlimited, which was a fantastic charity to help us at the beginning, and then Borough Market were incredibly supportive to us when we started. They loved the idea of Rubies in the Rubble and got behind it, and that was the way that we got out there and started being able to meet people and chefs and delis, and it was a fantastic group of people as well.
Maybe I wish I would have written a business plan just to kind of see what happened, like to see if what what you've done. Actually, when you look back at notes that you've taken or anything that you've done, everything you write down about what you want to do about your business, it always it happens usually. So I think I would. I don't know.
You might have done a business plan.
I think a business plan would be a good
advice.
thing.